Hey everyone, this is episode 14 of Noodle Time. Welcome. Here with me is Mateo Bahamich's bench partner, Tony Rubio. Tony, say hello.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? I've got about as many minutes as Alejandro Fuenmayor this year, so I'm feeling good. No shade, a lot of shade there, but hope everybody's doing well. We got a late night edition here. Me and Andres filming this one past 10 p.m. here, past our bedtimes. So sorry if we sound a little bit out of it. Definitely not enough beer, not enough beer in the world for this late night show, but we got a lot to cover before the Dynamo go into a bit of a rest period and before the Dash heat up.
Yeah, we're in a pretty interesting period because the Dynamo are going to be playing their game against Seattle in less than 12 hours from now, 24 hours. And that's going to be a good time, as always, as we play very well in Cascadia games. So look out for that. So today we're going to talk about Dynamo and Dash news from last week, also their games. Dynamo, lots to talk about, obviously, but the Dash getting everything done against the Rain. And just before we go ahead and start the show, obviously, coffee.com/dynamicfoxtrot. Catch all the episodes there. Support us if you want and read my blog posts as well. We put up some good content and yeah, like this past week, like we did get since it's been like the 1 month mark, we did get 3 supporters this week. So shout out to Will Call for Will, as we like to call him in real life, obviously, for his 4 consecutive months with us. Like he's been supporting us for like pretty much since the start and pretty much since I put up the Ko-fi page. So yeah, shout out to Will for being a absolute bro, a Dino bro, as I would like to say. And yeah, we also got a Web finally donating us last month. And yeah, like we all know Webb, he's like the king of the Dynamo, king of the Dash. Like VVA Stadium is his home, so we all know that as well. And also Kenny Kabner for supporting us. Thank you so much. He's been following the Foxtrot as well for a while now, and like this is his first time supporting us. So yeah, we thank you all for being such amazing supporters, and hopefully we can keep up the support over the course of time. So yeah, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about the news from last week first. The first being the official introduction for the new Dynamo and Dash CEO, Jamey Rootes. He did have like a press conference last Wednesday. Pretty much he focused on everything that's gonna go down with the club over the course of time, and just to like summarize everything well, he did pretty much saying that there's gonna be improvements over the course of time, and he's gonna be reviewing everything. It's gonna take time for him to get all the information from like all the aspects of the club, and then from there make a decision. But the main parts I just want to talk about is that he did announce during the press conference that there's gonna be in the supporter section of the stadium, there's gonna be the safe standing for all the supporters, which has been a thing for the Dynamo supporters, like in that section, for them to progress on. And I remember it being like an issue when Chris Kennedy was in charge, and he did like there were like plans even to get safe standing in the stadium sometime by like 2017, 2018, but
yeah, there was even like a picture that was always floating around of somebody in a meeting with a Chris Kennedy standing in front of a PowerPoint, like showing how they were going to have safe standing in the next couple of years, and for one reason or another, it just didn't happen. But Jamey Rootes comes in and guarantees that there will be limbs 2022. Absolute scenes for El Batallon and our friends at the Surge, the Texan Army, anybody who's still alive from that fan group. But it's becoming the norm in MLS. So I think it just got to the point where we couldn't be like one of the last teams not to have that implemented, especially for safety reasons. I'm sure that's something that's pushed forward. Now we'll have to wait and see whether it's actually a big overhaul or whether it's just kind of a bandage over a bigger problem because no offense, like in this season, I don't know if you saw FC Dallas got some safe standing as well, and it just kind of almost looks like they just threw it together a little bit last minute and not so coherent. So whatever happens, I hope it's done well.
Oh yeah, I remember. I don't know if you guys know, but like they did get essentially they redid their safe standing twice. So like the first time being that they were pretty much like guaranteed to get like safe standing, but their safe standing were pretty much like bars that you like put your bike on for like security, and like they also look like concert fences, like those like temporary fences they put like for concerts and big events. Like it was just pretty strange, but eventually they did fix it, so it's just part of the meme of FC Dallas, so as all of you know. And but yeah, like this has been like I said, it's been like an issue that has been going all the way back since Kennedy was in charge, and I've also been like with all the meetings with members of the Search Supporters group. It's been like I think I pretty much brought it to like almost every meeting, and as the supporters also agree with, and yeah, just happy that it's happening finally, and also that he essentially promised that it's gonna be there by next year, which is pretty promising, which has been like a recurring thing for the new Dynamo for not like the new face of the Dynamo for an office since Seagull came in. So yeah, I'm looking for.
It's a new thing to have people actually follow through on their word. It's something new for Dynamo fans that have been hurt before. So we're happy with the bare minimum for now.
Oh yeah,
I don't know. So, it's above the bare minimum. It's getting things done. But other than I think another thing I don't know if you saw in the press conference with Rootes is they asked him, I think, about Tab's contract, right?
Yeah, Tabs and Matt Jordan, since they both essentially expire after this season.
I mean, nothing too surprising there, but it is. It's pretty interesting that Tab still has not been offered a contract extension. So they're gonna. I just paraphrasing here. I believe they said they're pretty much just gonna see how the season keeps going and revisit it at a later date. So that's not comforting for Tab, I would say, and I think Matt Jordan knows where he stands. So I think the Dynamo fans can expect a pretty holistic review upon that. I know a lot of people aren't happy with Matt Jordan, and I know some people aren't really happy with Tab. Obviously, for a straight time, it's getting kind of depressing. But you know, it's a long season, and it's still in Tab. In the long game, it's going to be good, but we'll see. It's an interesting one to keep an eye on for you guys. It kind of get dicey. Tab, that may be why Tab is reluctant to play younger players if he's playing for a contract extension.
Yeah, it's a good point. Obviously, it's at this point in time. Yeah, one of the things that was brought up is that everything is going to be under review, almost every aspect of the club, and obviously with the contracts for both Tab and Jordan coming up, there's going to be some big decisions behind them. Obviously, if we get like new openings, that's essentially has to align with the current vision, like with the academy, what they're trying to do with the pipeline and everything like that, as well as the vision, like the new vision with Seagull and obviously now with Jamey Rootes. So yeah, it's just there's gonna be a big decision coming up. We'll definitely keep an eye on that. And yeah, like the last thing that I like to highlight the most from this press conference is that they pretty much are also prioritizing the facilities a lot, this being PVA Stadium and Houston Sports Park. Now the Dynamo fully own HSP or Houston Sports Park, and they're always looking to see if they can improve PVA Stadium. They did mention Jamey Rootes. He did mention that they're going to be looking into having getting some feedback over the course of time and putting like some kind of master plan together along with an architect to see if there could be like other major improvements to BVA Stadium done in the future. Obviously, that's pretty. It has to be expected now that with the stadium getting kind of dated. Obviously, it's still fairly young at the tender age of 11. So obviously it's always good to get to think about upgrades in the future, but at the same time, I don't know if you noticed, but like the seats are kind of the coloring of the orange seats is kind of fading away. So they should be thinking about like doing some kind of replacements or maybe
for sure. They got to keep it maintained because it seems like every other day there's a new MLS stadium being released or being announced, and the Dynamo can't fall behind in any category there. So that's the least that should be done with the stadium. Houston Sports Park, we know there's a crap ton of space out there, a lot of development. We know Aviva Stadium, from the rough. Not from the Sabercats is out there. Unconfirmed. We need to talk to somebody about this, but I remember reading that somebody was saying the Dynamo are actually like managing, like the Dynamo staff is managing the pitch over there at Aviva Stadium or something. Could be some kind of collaboration between the teams, but that does make me interested in whether if Houston, gets a U23 team down the road in the next year or two, if Aviva Stadium could be a possible venue for them to be playing their games out of. But Houston Sports Park has a lot of room to grow. I know they're just introducing a brand new second professional field for the first team, so they don't wear out their one top field so much. And hopefully they keep improving and bring the Dash up to speed with the level of the Dynamo's at in terms of locker rooms. And you can never keep progressing enough comparing to the other teams in MLS like Montreal, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Inter Miami, all these places that have these insane training centers. Would love to see the Dynamo up there as well.
Oh yeah, so we're definitely gonna keep an eye on that one for sure. Obviously, there's nothing set in stone other than that the safe standing sections for the supporters coming up, which is essentially the only promise that we have right now. So it's gonna be interesting to see how these unfolds and if there's going to be any major changes to BVA Stadium other than that the safe standing. So we'll see. And moving on from that, there's been a couple signings for both the Dynamo and the Dash. The Dash re-signing Michelle Alozie to the first team, this time also as a national team replacement player. So essentially she's going to be coming back to the Dash as a replacement player during the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Now that the Dash are going to be missing some significant players. And yeah, she's already had experience with the Dash. She did play the preseason with them early this year. And it's kind of a no-brainer to bring her in as a national team replacement player. And yeah, just hope for the very best for her and to like take advantage of this specific situation.
Yeah, we'll cover it in a second, but a great win for the Dash, missing a lot of key players against OL Reign this past weekend, 2-0. And I have a feeling the confidence is coming back, the groove's kind of coming back in, and I think the Dash are going to keep building off of this. Some tough matches coming up. I think the Michelle Alozie signing is a great one. She showed really well for Nigeria in those games that they played against Portugal and against the States. So I believe she bagged the goal against Portugal in one of those as well. So I'm excited for her to get some more minutes with the team and see what she can do.
Oh yeah. So with that, out of nowhere, pretty much the Dynamo did announce the signing of a defender, also listed as a midfielder, which is welcoming news.
Also listed as a forward.
Yeah, he can pretty much play on the wing, on the right, at either position. And yeah, they did sign Griffin Dorsey to a 3-year contract with I like to say not 3-year, but also it's just this year and the additional options for the next couple of years. And yeah, it was pretty surprising, honestly. They did like Toronto did like waive him fairly recently, and honestly I wasn't expecting them to like make other reinforcements other than like a forward or like essentially like a DP caliber kind of player, like either up or in front. But it is welcoming news.
you know who Toronto cut? I mean, you know why Toronto cut him to bring in your your countryman, Soteldo, the DFC. That's why they cut Dorsey. They cut him, and then the next day they signed Soteldo. So yeah,
I remember.
TFC lost his Argane. Griffin Dorsey, I believe he's only 23 years old. Generation Adidas player drafted in the first round of the draft 2 or 3 years ago. Didn't really feature for TFC's first team that much this season. He featured for them in a CONCACAF Champions League game or two off the bench, and he featured quite a bit for TFC too in the USL a couple times. So, like Andres said, Dorsey projected as a winger, as a forward in his college career at Indiana, where he was for 2 years, and got drafted into MLS, kind of moved around, and it seems lastly with Toronto, he was really being deployed more as a fullback. So that's I think it's a great move to bring in a guy that that Tab knows from his work ethic, from his time with the U20 youth national team. And more guys like this generation, Adidas contracts, domestic contracts, just in terms to save those international spots maybe for a little bit more spicy signings instead of somebody that's not really making an impact off the bench, So that'll be interesting to see if Jose Buzama is still in Tab's plans, because we've barely seen him play this season. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I feel like Buzama's on his way out. Also, kind of the same boat as Fuenmayor, a player that I've kind of have mixed feelings about. Obviously, not getting enough time to play for a very long time now, and yeah, it is what it is, obviously, and yeah, we'll see what Griffin Dorsey brings to the table. It might be very soon, though. I feel like it's a position that they need depth on, and obviously, like, they do have the players right now, but at the same time, they're not getting any minutes, and like they need. I just bring in like a player with experience with Tab. I think there's gonna be it's the player's more likely to see more minutes, since Tab gets to know, it's pretty much knows him well.
It's a lot more comforting that the Dynamo are starting to get at least too deep in every position in the back line. So, obviously you had David coming in, Parker, we got, Minor is out for the Gold Cup, but, we got Junko that can fill in, Fuenmayor that's still there, Barlow hopefully coming back from injury soon. So, Junk was one that we can talk about in a bit, but, well, he definitely looked the part against Cincinnati this weekend. So that's one to look forward to.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, that's a good transition, though, because I was going to talk about Junko in the review of the FC Cincinnati game. And yeah, with that said, let's go ahead and review the Dynamo games against FC Cincinnati this past weekend. It was the first game at 100% capacity since the pandemic started. And I was expecting big things, and I was disappointed with the 1-1 result, honestly.
Houston, Dynamo.
Yeah, especially how they score a goal at the 3rd minute, and the Dynamo concede a minute later, and I was like, "Oh, can we have like some kind of fun watching Dynamo games, please? Like, can we please hold the lead for a few minutes?"
I mean, honestly, after that happened, I thought it was definitely going to be a 4-3, 4-4 type of game, and then things were just really shut down. I mean, former Dynamo player Jeff Cameron had a really great game in the back for Cincinnati, shutting down Rudy and any possible attacks from the midfield. So it was a tough game. Alvaro Barriel from Cincinnati got the goal on their ends. Not really an easy goal to pin on anybody specifically. Like we said, kind of caught off guard right after our goal. They take a break, and Marco Mares stood on his head all game again, but he couldn't get this one. And Alvaro Barriel was a real pain in the butt all game long, getting booed by Houston fans as well. So he definitely will probably be happy with that result. But man, 4 straight ties in a row for the Dynamo. It's tough, man. What positives
5 games without a win? Yeah. You see us. Obviously, I've seen like the Dynamo jumping off the table like after a good lead. Obviously, it was going to happen either way with how like the strength of schedule, and as well as us only getting draws for the past 4 games. And yeah, like it's been probably disappointing, not only because this was a game that they had to win against a pretty unconvincing team, but also like just like the second half overall, and like good chunks of the first half, like pretty much like it was kind of stagnant. Like they did get their chances in, but like it's been kind of like more of the same, like the same issues being like not finishing opportunities, and yeah, like just like frustrating play overall. Like fans were rightfully frustrated, only because, like I said, they had to win this game after dropping so many points, especially at home now, and yeah, it's gonna take. Now they can pretty much afford to like drop more games at home, assuming that they're gonna do worse on the road this year. But yeah, like it's been frustrating. But Junqua, like one of the few highlights of this game, as well as Pasher, like Junqua, like he's been developing very well. Like obviously this game, the goal was also like the goal conceded was partially his fault, but like also the assist provided to Pasher, like it makes me like pretty confident that obviously from like the goal conceded is gonna learn from this mistake, and just like I like lately seeing him as a fullback, like I pretty much trust him at that position at this point, like better than being a center back, and
yeah,
like he proved it this game in my opinion. It's just that he got the unlucky part of being like involved in the goals, the conceded goal that led to the tie.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put that much blame on him. It was, like I said, kind of a weird ball. Nobody expected Brenner to kind of dummy it, and Barriel's speed was too much. But yeah, Junk was one-on-one capabilities. This game just really impressed me the most. His tendency to just cross the ball in accurately, which, no offense, is something that I feel like we haven't gotten enough from Lundqvist in the past. That kind of thread off the cross, not afraid to put in an early cross, and that's where where we saw Pasher capitalize and put in an absolute dime of a goal on the back post. So it's just interesting how Tab started to give Junqua more and more minutes. He's definitely one of his guys, if that makes sense. One of coach's guys, and it'll be interesting to see if Junqua keeps winning more minutes over Lundqvist this season and how that edges out. But regardless, fourth tie in a row, and now we're going into a tough stretch, losing all these guys for Gold Cup: Figueroa, Boniek, Seren, Pasher. Correct me if I'm wrong, that's everybody, but it's going to be tough to get results without those guys.
Oh yeah, and the game against Seattle tomorrow on the road, and at this conditions against the only team in the league that has not lost a single game yet this season. Not looking good. We'll go ahead and talk about that in the preview later on. But yeah, it's not looking good, especially with a stretch coming out, mostly being road games, with the only home game with the next 5 being against Salt Lake City on the 31st this month, and that's gonna be fun. So
it's gonna be rough.
As good Dynamo fans that we are. So yeah. With that, let's go ahead and go review the Dash game. The Dash playing to a 2-0 victory at home over All Rain. Being a team that's been a headache for the Dash historically, but like over the last couple seasons, they're not been much of a threat to them. And yeah, I came into this game and like just watching it, they essentially dominated the Rain almost certainly. I saw the performance, like Sophie Schmidt, even though she didn't get the goal, she was pretty much everyone in this game, and that I would like to just commend that assist by Shea Groom to get the first goal to Jasmine Spencer. That was a great assist, honestly. That was amazing, and yeah, like I just happy that they're having fun again. There's a big result they needed, because they're now on a good spot to to secure that top 4 spot that they need to get to the playoffs and over the course of time. And yeah, I'm just happy that they took care of business essentially.
Yeah, I mean, they honestly could have had more goals in that frustrating first half, not to put in any more earlier, but it was definitely a relief to see that second goal and see that game come under control. Something the Dynamo could learn learn a little bit about with Leeds, but it's definitely a great start for the Dash after losing Maria Sanchez, after losing so many players to the Olympics. Things are looking up in terms of confidence. So that's one foot forward before this weekend's game against the Red Stars away, I believe, which haven't been the hottest team in NWSL at all. And we're just hoping the Dash can keep momentum going and look for 3 points on the road.
Oh yeah, both teams playing on the road this weekend, which is a good transition to the previews for each. Obviously, we talked earlier about the Seattle game. The Dynamo playing them on the road. They historically, the Dynamo have not been very good against Cascadia teams on the road, especially since all of them are pretty hard to play. Obviously, the road being the road teams, they're gonna be like from the get go, they're gonna be pretty hard to face. But also, the turf, being the meme, you know how it is. But yeah, this game, just looking at Seattle from surface level, I've considered Seattle to be one, if not the most consistent teams in MLS. Like, just like going over the years, like no matter how they change their players, they change their front office members, how they do stuff on and off the field. Like, they're still MLS playoff contenders, and they can always win MLS Cup. And yeah, like this season specifically, like they haven't lost a game yet, and they're still top of the West, I believe. If not Kansas City, if Kansas City didn't take over this week, but it's really irrelevant since the Sounders are undefeated and they're in a pretty good position to like pretty much like take care of the season and just probably wins the Supporters Shield even.
I mean, somebody has to be the Sounders to ruin this unbeaten streak. I'm not saying it's going to be us, but look, everybody's already against us. Nobody believes in us. Let's take the classic underdog route and just smash them where it hurts, man. They got players missing, and we got players missing. And this is it, baby. I'm not saying we're gonna win, but all I'm saying is we're not gonna tie. That's my prediction for this game.
That's a good one. I'm not gonna get into specifics so I don't jinx it, but yeah, that'll be something. I like to say. I'm just gonna say that
it's coming home.
I'm just gonna say that I'm setting my expectations fairly, and if it happens, it happens. Whatever happens, I'm rooting for the Dynamo always to get the 3 points, but in this specific situation, it's gonna be a really tough game to. Like I just mentioned, the Sounders just being this dominant team that, regardless of who you are, they're gonna take care of you, and it's gonna be a tough game for Tab and Dynamo, honestly.
I mean, I'm just curious to see how Tab comes out, because we've seen him try, 5 in the back against Colorado, and we've seen other teams go 5 in the back against Seattle, trying to pull the results out. I know Dallas is one of those teams that I've seen convert from their normal shape a little bit, and I just really don't think that's something the Dynamo need to be doing. Tomorrow, if Tab is looking to bunker and hit the counter, I just don't think it's some place that we're going to create chances to even win the game, and I don't think we're solid enough defensively to hold 3 in the back against the Sounders, or 5 in the back, however you want to see it. So I hope we play our game. I hope we keep Derek Jones deep. One thing I've loved to see this season, Andres, I don't know if you've noticed, is Derek Jones sitting in between the center backs, winning the ball, and dude, the way he carries the ball forward, nobody can stop him for a good chunk of time, and he can actually kind of dice through some players. And I keep seeing that every single game, and I'm just waiting for him to release somebody on the perfect break, catch a goal. Why not tomorrow against Seattle? Derek Jones won't have Christian rolled on in that midfield to have to worry about. Obviously João Paulo and some other big name players, but we need some big performances from some big guys. I don't want to mention one certain homegrown midfielder's name that hasn't been showing up on the score sheet much lately, but we need some big games from some big guys. If anything, it will come from this result.
Oh yeah, like it's a good point that you bring up Derrick Jones, because that's kind of how I feel how Dynamo like should apply the formation to this game. Like obviously, I still don't think they're good enough to put like 5 or 3 in the back, as we've seen like 5 in the back against Colorado, the game that shall not be named, and yeah, it's just like just seeing Derrick Jones, like as you said, winning all the balls, just being there. I like to see that against Seattle, like not as a defender, but like also sitting back with the defense, as a defensive midfielder, obviously. But yeah, like just seeing that, I feel like that's like the only viable way to get a result from Seattle. Not necessarily a win, but like a strong result. And yeah, like it's obviously easier said than done when it comes to Seattle. So we just have to see what happens from here. We do have the weapons to score goals, but like we have the holes to concede them, as we've seen before this season. So it's gonna be an interesting game for sure.
Another thing is Tap's substitutes this season, whether that's just waiting very long to bring anybody in and make a reasonable impact to even try to win the game. And then the second one is, seems like he's got some certain things against some certain players going. Very possible that we are just dumb and Mateo Bahamic is not near the level to play in MLS right now. But the man is not getting any looks while we have all these players out. And these will be the games where we will really know if Tab has this guy in his doghouse, because there's no reason with Pasher out, with Lasser out, that Bahamic should not be getting minutes. I saw Nico Lemoyne travel to the Dynamo for this game, and as we saw before, he decided to give Lemoyne a start over Bahamic against Colorado, and I don't color me shocked if that happens again tomorrow against Seattle, because I don't know what it is against Bahamic that he has, but the fans just want to see more and then make our opinion at least.
Oh yeah, it's been pretty worrying, the situation with Bahamic. I would say like early in the season, I was in the thought, I was pretty much thinking that he still had to like adapt to MLS, but it's been 13 games now. At this point, a Tab should have like a pretty good profile on him, and like pretty much every game that he doesn't make an appearance, I get pretty worried about. And just like you mentioned, how this game, it's gonna be like a pretty good game. Like I would say like a pretty a game where he's more likely to make an appearance now that Lassiter and Patrick are gonna be gone for the Gold Cup. Obviously, he's gonna is either him or like Tab has to take advantage of the opportunity to like bring him on and bring like new energy to the game. And also, with your point being the choice of substitutions and like the timing, I also feel like it's a pretty valid reason to be concerned, since I feel like for the most part, whenever like Tab is making substitutions, they're coming in pretty late, and there's not barely enough time to make a difference. And I feel like it's been like a recurring issue this season. So we'll see. I'm definitely hoping that Bahamic plays this game, even though Lemoyne travel, and it's looking pretty worrisome. Although we could also see like Bahamic start and Lemoyne being sub, but we just have to wait and see.
We're probably going to see Memo on the wing again. Hasn't been working recently, but we probably will. But we don't want to keep this episode going too long. But Dash versus the Chicago Red Stars away this weekend. What do we have to expect from that, Andres?
Oh yeah, the Red Stars are not looking good. This is a winnable game for the Dash, but like for the past few episodes, whenever we mention a winnable games for the Dash, it usually goes the other way around. So this is still a game they have to get the 3 points. And they're pretty feasible. Like this is gonna be another game that Dash are gonna be missing their starters, but we've noticed that without the main starters being out for like the Olympics. Just as evidenced by the game against All Rain this past weekend, they can hold up very well. And just heading into this game against Chicago, you can obviously assume that they're gonna bring like a strong performance, and yeah, like and a struggling team against the Chicago Red Stars. Like I said, it's pretty feasible, but I mentioned that so many times, like over the last few episodes. We just have to wait and see, honestly.
Yeah, in that case, the game against Seattle tomorrow for the Dynamo is not winnable at all. Put that on record.
Obviously that's different, but yeah.
That's about it for the episode. I think Andres has some Dynamo Lone Army updates.
Oh yes, absolutely. Let's start with the bad news. Marcelo Palomino. He played. Not Palomino. Sorry, Eric McHugh, our homeboy. He did not play against the Rowdies this past weekend, and rightfully so. The Charleston Battery lost that game because Eric McHugh didn't play. So, Charleston Battery, shame on you. And the good news being that Marcelo Palomino did play 90 minutes. This one was against the Riverhounds, but they lost that game 1-0. So, yeah, it's gonna be pretty. Yeah, so he did get a ton of minutes from this game, and just coming off still from scoring goals for them like lately. It's still good that he's getting way more minutes in his last 10 games. So I'm just looking forward to his development still. Not much to report from this game, but yeah, I'm just happy that he's still getting minutes with them.
Yeah, I know. Palomino is getting all the time in the world he needs, so just hoping McHugh keeps getting his chances with Charleston, and we keep seeing the boys develop. But let's see what happens this week under this before a big bye week coming for the Dynamo. Big points on the board for everyone, and we just wish the best of vibes there. No predictions.
Big points, vibes. Big break coming up. Yeah.
Appreciate you all listening for this late night episode. Sorry if we sound a little tired, but still wanted to get you guys a listen in, specifically Webb Tilton on his bike rides that he always mentions to us.
Yeah, we had to get this episode out before Webb's bike ride so he can hear us. And yeah, guys, thank you all so much for tuning into this episode. And yeah, you know how it is. Stay noodle.
Stay noodle, y'all.